and maybe in high school, middle school, what was the snack go-to? And as you're
sneaking in right now, so I have kids. I've got kids in high school, so I'm like sneaking around the house, and Dad goes out in the backyard and gets stoned, and then has to figure out what he's going to eat. So it's just like high school, but I'm like
But now you can pay for your own snacks.
So I got to pay for the snacks, and like it's what I want. So I like to do taco courses. So I like go through, and I have to be gluten-free. I became a celiac a couple years ago, which really sucks because I was a normal for a long time, and so I know what I'm missing.
You were a normal?
I was a normal, but now I'm not, and so I know what I'm missing. So I like to take this skillet, and I'll make like corn tortillas, and I put a bunch of cheese, and I melt it, and then I just find whatever I can throw in there, and I make these stoner tacos that are really cheesy and gooey, and and then I finish
making me really hungry right
now. I know, right?
I finish it with,
I know. Everyone's like pizza and tacos.
My biggest thing is I do a Starburst taco. Like you flatten like a yellow Starburst, and you roll up a red one, you put it in the middle like a taco shape, and it's delicious. When you're stoned, it's like an amazing treat.
I've heard that the red and yellow is considered the cherry limeade.
Red and yellow is the best.
That is John's second mic drop of the day. You can't beat a Starburst taco. Right?
Yeah, Mike, you're not. I'm not going back to you for the next.
I should go first every time. So
that is true because it's impossible to follow.
That's the secret. Go second. You got to think about it.
I mean, that was a fucking genius.
That's actually what I do.
Do you put hot sauce on the Starburst taco?
No, Starburst tacos. You just want fruit.
You just go sweet.
Well, you will do
sweet and
if you're getting really crazy. Sometimes you put a Sour Patch Kid in there.
Dude,
you can really make a tortilla out of a Starburst and put any candy in the middle of it, but this is what happens when your kids are in high school and you gotta sneak it and stoned and then.
Dad, where's my Starburst?
Although it's not really sneaking, I'm pretty sure.
Check the taco.
When the kids were younger, it's like his Halloween bags have just been like riddled. Be like, I guess there's a rat in the house. And
all you got was Almond Joys. I don't know.
Dude, are Almond Joys not the fucking worst? And Mounds?
You want to just buy those just to mess with people.
Yeah. Or I guess that candy at Halloween, since it's roughly around the time, is the orange and black like wrapped papers. I don't even know what the fuck was in them. I just gave them away every time. I never wanted them.
That's like the equivalent.
Will there be a Halloween this year?
That's a great question.
Well, let's be the first year in American history there was no Halloween. Don't say it.
I don't even
want to bad enough on kids. Can't do it.
Yeah, I mean,
everyone wear a mask as part of your Halloween costume. We'll let it happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Halloween should be the safest holiday of the whole year.
The only and technically, as long as you maybe wipe down all the kids' candy when it comes out of the bag, because the parents will like.
With the Clorox wipe before you feed the kid. That's perfect. Exactly. That's just like what Trump was saying. You give them the Clorox and then let eat the candy.
Yes, that's what he was saying. That makes sense.
That's what he meant. That's what he meant. He was thinking about the kids.
Oh, yes. Well, that's so nice of him, that prick. All right, gentlemen, well, before we go, this will be my last question of the day. I do appreciate y'all joining us. Actually, let's do a quick. I'll leave it to John. John, let's do a quick plug. If somebody wants to find out where to get weed, things of that nature.
At Trust Veritas is our Instagram account. We're very active, and you can ask us any questions specifically. People ask us all the time their neighborhood, what's the closest store, and we'll point the right direction. Or VeritasCannabis.com, there's an active map that shows we're currently in about 100 stores statewide. So go on there and find the one closest to you.
Nice. Well, that was very much smoother than my last ad read. You must be doing this for a living.
That's my first one.
Yeah. Well, nailed it.
The last one. Perfect.
Well, you killed it. No, I doubt this will be your last. There's got to be another podcast. There's tons of them that ride my coattails.
Anybody can get on a podcast. What are you talking about?
Every white guy in Denver has a podcast. All right. So here's the last question of the day. It's called The Last Supper, which obviously it pivots a little bit from when we have cannabis guests, but I feel like y'all like cannabis guests enjoy food just as much. So we're going to do Last Supper while stoned. You can have 3 guests, dead or alive, join you for a joint and a meal. They cannot be your friends or family, dead or alive. Who are we picking? We have to go with Mike first because
John will top me and he'll have 10 more times.
I don't want you to look bad. You are the showcase here, so don't fuck this up.
Well, first, before I go, I want to make a plug for you. This is I haven't been on a lot of podcasts, so don't worry. I don't have a lot to weigh you on or compare you with.
Well, you're making it sound worse.
By far, Kip, this is the best podcast I've ever been on. You're a great guy. How'd you get the name Stoned Appetite? Where'd that come from?
It was just kind of a theme that we had I get high and go eat all the time. Yeah. And so it was a segment, and so it just turned into the whole full-fledged name, and now we just kind of stay inside the lanes of party, drugs, food, alcohol, and live music.
Pretty much everything I love. So, but
that's why we're all best friends.
Probably love this, but that's why. So great work. This is fun. I'm glad this is a nice respite from the normal day that we have. So,
well, gentlemen, I do appreciate y'all joining us. Don't distract.
My 3 people would be Sean Connery because I grew up obsessed with James Bond. No, I was. I don't know why he's.
God, you're old.
He's old. I know.
You're not even a Roger Moore guy. You're a Sean Connery.
Roger Moore was very handsome, but he wasn't as rugged as the Sean.
He was dreamy.
He was dreamy. He was more look. Yeah, I grew up obsessed with James Bond. It's a stupid thing, but I just think Sean Connery's always been really, really cool. He got started being a bouncer, so I thought that was cool. Became a real famous actor. He was a bouncer in Edinburgh and became an actor. I don't know. Seems like he'd be a cool guy to sit down with.
Who's your least favorite of the Bonds? I grew up on
Pierce Brosnan.
What?
Yeah.
I grew up on that one. I
He
mean,
was very fake to me.
Jesus, she must be a really particular Bond
Yeah,
guy.
I
I'm not even going
like
to dive into Batman.
His movies, I didn't think his movies were that good. Like, I just didn't like him that much.
What about the video game GoldenEye? I mean, that was
millions of
video
hours
yeah,
spent.
exactly.
Guys our age, that's what.
But I can't credit Pierce Brosnan for that video game.
No, and I mean GoldenEye was great, and the rest, Tomorrow Never Dies, and the rest were just so-so. But at the same time, they're all kind of the same. They bang hotties, and then they kill some folks, and they get a little scuffed up in the tuck. So I didn't know Pierce was that low on the list. I kind of considered him. He was the one I grew up with. So
Yeah, not for me. Didn't
you
do
just shit all over my Bond experience.
I'll do that.
All right. Well, that's not a bad first guess. We got
If
Sean
you started
Connery.
a James Bond podcast, I would love to be on it. I
Okay, I'll get right on that.
I could talk a lot.
Very
We'll
neat.
sign up that interest list at 1.
Yeah, I thought we had a really niche demo already. Turns out there's actually a lot tighter.
Right.
Well, who else is at this dinner where y'all are nerding out?
Oh, we're nerding out.
Or just nerding out on, guns and killing folks? I feel like that's what Sean Connery did in every movie. He was just a
I would love
cocksman
to-
or a killer.
I would love to chat with Leonardo da Vinci, right, if you could. I mean, he's arguably the smartest human being ever.
Okay, all
Kind
right.
of like pave the path for the future. I probably wouldn't understand a word he says because I don't speak like whatever
Well,
he
they
spoke.
all translate to
14th
English.
century
I
Italian.
think it's 14th
Was
century
it Italian?
Was it Italian or was it Latin? Who knows? But either way, I bet he would be really smart. So it's like the Bill and Ted's question, which, by the way, second sequel's coming out. I can't wait for Bill and Ted's.
I think it is out, isn't it? I mean,
I don't know. What is out? Does that mean you can watch it at home?
Yeah, that's a good point.
It works on my remote control now. I normally wait for the 21s to go down to like $4 anyway, so I probably won't be seeing Bill and Ted's for a few months. But if it's out, that's cool.
I'm still waiting on Kings of Staten Island or whatever to drop to just under $10.
Yeah.
I don't like Pete
I spent
Davidson
on
$20.
that. It was pretty amazing.
Was it?
It was
Was it a
worth.
good movie?
It was good. I enjoyed it.
Okay, cool.
I like Bill Burr. I think he's a funny kind of asshole. He's very abrasive. I don't take anything from that, but all right, so that was a good twofer. You got
And I guess my favorite athlete growing up was Don Mattingly. I was a Yankee fan, so not that he's probably that interesting of a person. Probably a nice guy. Probably wouldn't have much to talk to him.
He's
about.
probably got some
Maybe I would.
stories, yogi quotes, and then he's also got some.
I probably would say Jerry Garcia too. I mean, probably if I go into that hippie realm, I could just name a lot of musicians I would have loved to have known and met. That probably
Calm down, Cheech. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. But let me X Don Mattingly from that. I would say Jerry Garcia over Don Mattingly. Don Mattingly kind of.
Imagine if he did get Don to roast a bone, though. I mean, he probably would have.
It wouldn't be an accomplishment getting Jerry Garcia to roast a bone with.
Yeah,
that would just be the beginning of your hanging out with Jerry Garcia.
Then he'd probably whip out the spoon. So you probably would rather hang out with.
That's a very good point.
You get some Reggie Jackson stories, probably a little snow from Billy Martin. You got a big thing going on. So we don't allow second guessing. So you're going with Don.
Okay.
And
Donnie Baseball. I don't have a regret.
Yeah, I mean, if that meal ever comes
I used to go
fruition,
to a lot of Yankee games as a kid, and I'd wear his uniform. And
favorite Yankee ever was Donnan.
That's who I grew up with. I mean, my
Jesus,
dad was Mantle.
old.
I know.
This is so weird. I'm just like, no, it was like Paul O'Neill and Jeter and Bernie, and that was I hated them because they were great in the '90s when we were.
Yeah, as soon as Donnie retired, Jeter was like 90. He retired in '95. They won in '96, so it was painful. That's maybe why I always want to ask him, like, how did that feel? Like, you retired. We kind of wanted you to stay in it one more year, and you left, and then you just blew up. It's just. I wouldn't ask him that because that's a horrible question. Maybe you would because you're head of a podcast. So
yeah.
I just stole your question if you ever talk to Don Mattingly.
I'll allow it. I'll be like, so a friend of mine out in Colorado, he loves you. He has your picture on his wall, and he's 40.
Biggest fan.
Yeah. Yeah, you're his biggest fan.
Don Mattingly OG is coming out soon. I don't know if you know about that or not.
Did you have
hard hitter?
Did you have
lefty?
I see what you did there. Is it a sativa or an indica? Because he was kind of
it's
a sleeper.
not really coming up, but that's a great idea. We need strain called the
and we didn't really talk strains very much, but I guess we can do that right before we live.
You mean you're not a typical interview asking us what our 3 favorite strains are?
No, that sounds like a fucking terrible question. Terpene profiles. No, we try to have a little more fun about this. Let's get to know you guys.
Absolutely.
All right, so those were actually really good answers. So I feel like you may have set the bar pretty high.
I'm a little nervous here because I'm really sure.
He's going to be like Lance Armstrong, somebody that lives in the mountains of Colorado. I didn't know.
No, actually, I do have someone from the mountains who lived in the Colorado
was
mountains at one
close.
time. He's no longer alive, though. And actually, I wouldn't have thought of it if you hadn't started at the beginning. But so Shane McConkey, I think, is an example of just someone who lives life by his terms. And so the Shane McConkey movie is an amazing movie, and I think he'd be an amazing dude to get high with.
That's a great one.
And I think that if there was someone you could emulate here, spirit, that dude's amazing.
I couldn't agree more. Like we like to channel Bourdain a lot, but like when you watch those videos, and I follow his wife on Instagram.
Early Bourdain or late Bourdain?
Probably more early.
Early Bourdain.
That's the answer to the question. Once you say his name, of course that's who you want to hang out with.
I mean, yeah, but that's like
He's
a cheat.
The coolest guy ever.
He just took
Everyone
mine.
always
that was my chef, by the way. So thank you.
Was it?
I appreciate it.
He's usually, and I mean, he would be at our table too. But you can't go wrong with all of these people. Like you mentioned, industry leaders and across 3 centuries. Fuck, I don't even know how long ago Leonardo da Vinci was. But so there's a wide variety. But I think Shane McConkey had that spirit that we try to embody as well a little bit. Just like
I think we'd all like to go back and look at our life and say we lived it like Shane lived his.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like whatever you're passionate about, his passion drove him. That was really cool.
That was really good. I hope that I picked that up on the microphone.
Right.
I hope I did. I can always. We'll have Zane.
My best thoughts come when the microphone's on the ground.
No shit. That's when I asked my hard-hitting questions when we were walking around earlier. And here I am just asking y'all questions about what kind of cartoons y'all watch. All right, so that's a good first one. Who do we have
number
on
one, and since you took Bourdain, I would say Giada the chef. I think she's just stunning, and I'm a huge fan of Italian food, so I would love to.
How would your
look
wife
at her.
feel about that?
My wife would not love it, but she knows that I'm a big Giada fan, so it's okay. I think I get.
Did you know that Giada cheated on her husband with Matt Lauer?
It's there's always hope.
I thought it was Bobby Flay, didn't she?
She may have fucked them both.
Yeah.
I know that she was fucking Matt Lauer because I think
wasn't everybody fucking Matt Lauer at one point?
I don't think everybody wanted to fuck Matt Lauer, but that didn't stop Matt Lauer.
Did she want to, or did she? Was
I think hers sounded. I think for some reason I don't know.
That seems like a good Google.
I know, right? If we had internet in this fucking, I have AT&T, so it's impossible. But I'd Google the shit out of that right now. She does have some hammers. Yeah. All right, so that's a good second one. You have a chef in house.
My last one is one that I think anyone in Denver would share, and I grew up in Colorado. I would love to get high with John Elway and ask him what the fuck is going on with managing this front office.
Wow, good one.
Front office is poorly managed. This team deserves to be better. The city deserves better, and I'd like to understand what's going on.
So you don't like Jim Ellis? Or do you think that Brittany Bolin can handle it? I can talk sports. I can do this all day.
I kind of feel like we've got to a spot where, I don't know that there's anything could be better. We were used to winning in Denver. It's time to start winning again.
You're used to it. Y'all had won twice, and it was at the same time, and then you caught Peyton for
I was there 2015.
I know. I mean, that was it. Y'all had you'll get these flashes of brilliance, and then y'all we're perennials.
Yeah, I just like to remind you are in Denver, and probably most of your fans are in Denver. So maybe Denver.
But they know that I'm not a Bronco fan. I'm a Cowboy fan, and we've sucked ass for 25 years, and it drives me fucking crazy.
I would not smoke a joint with Jerry Jones.
That guy sucks, and so does his son. I appreciate them putting every dollar they have at disposal at our resource.
I heard it's a hell of a stadium that the new Dallas.
It's gorgeous, Jerry World, but they need a real
Jerry World.
We need a real GM. We don't need a fucking Jones.
You need a plan.
It's like hiring the Trump sons to fix peace in the Middle East.
That's what they're doing. Actually.
I'm sure they are.
Currently, that's our policy.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how I feel my football teams run. It's worse than y'all's.
No, it is.
A lot of pressure on whoever marries Tiffany Trump, right?
Not really.
Not really. You just get to be.
Look at Jared fucking Kushner. That guy is just a walking douchebag. I hope he gets hit and trapped by traffic. I can say that. I hope that guy gets hit in traffic.
He just looks evil. There's nothing good about that guy, right? He just you take a look at him. He's like, who have I tossed out of their housing today, right?
Right. Exactly.
He looks like he's like, let's go break some civil laws.
Right.
Let's just really step on people's personal, rights.
I have 10 billion, but I really need 12 to be happy. So,
we could rob these, low income families over here and just take their land. What do y'all want to do that? Okay. Fuck Jared Kushner.
Fuck Jared Kushner.
Don't forget to go vote first.
Fuck Trump too.
Yes, you
please.
can. You can say it
loud and proud.
Yeah, we aren't fans of him in the House, so we ask you please do go vote November 3rd, first Tuesday of the month. We're about 6 weeks out from now, so it's going to be pretty much unbearable television time.
Oh, it's going to be brutal.
Perfect time to be tuning into podcasts that don't talk about politics.
That was a good segue. That was good.
Thanks. Well, gentlemen, I really do appreciate y'all joining me. Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, thank you.
A lot of fun.
You say that now. Wait till I edit this to make me sound smart. Y'all drop.
Awesome. Man.
It's impossible. But yeah, thank y'all again. And for our listeners at home, go follow at Trust Veritas. Hit up VeritasCannabis.com, and you can find out where to find our following.
Actually, by the time this drops, by the time this podcast comes out, I think our new website will be out, and you'll actually be able to find your favorite strains and where they're at. So it's a whole new feature we have on our website. We've got
working.
Yeah, right. I'm always working, never off, always on. But it's cool. There's a bunch of different ways you can always just find because that was our number one question. People always want to know how they get the weed they wanted. So
I agree wholeheartedly, and it feels like some folks I'll just go buy out of proximity. Like if I just need something like a quick one hitter on the way to supper, I'll just go grab a pre-roll at the Mile High, whatever it is, next to my house. But if you want to find like Primo, it's great that you have the resources available.
Yeah, want you to go out and find what you want. It's all about finding the right experience for yourself. So,
What's your favorite weed that y'all have?
my favorite thing that we're growing